The rhythmic clatter of train wheels on tracks serenaded me as I gazed out of the window. The landscape danced by in a symphony of autumn hues, fiery reds, soft yellows, and muted greens. But instead of filling me with nostalgia, the scenery only deepened my sense of disconnection from the place I once called home. Harmonyville. The name sounded like a distant memory, a chapter in my life that I'd carefully tucked away. It was where I had grown up, where the sun-dappled meadows were my playground, and where the laughter of childhood friends had been the soundtrack to my days. But that was a lifetime ago, before the pursuit of my music career had carried me away from the familiar cadence of this small town. Now, after years of rigorous training at the Serenade Conservatory and countless performances on grand stages, I was making a homecoming. The decision to return to Harmonyville had not been an easy one, but it was one that had been calling to me for some time. The dream that had led me away from this place had evolved, and it was time to bring that new melody to my hometown. My family had been waiting for my arrival at the train station, eager smiles lighting up their faces. There was my mother, Margaret, with her warm embrace, and my father, James, his voice gruff but filled with fatherly affection. And there was Tommy, my younger brother, now a lanky teenager whose growth spurt had seemingly happened in my absence. "Ella, it's been too long," my mother said, her arms wrapping around me, embracing me in the familiar warmth of her love. "It's good to see you, Mom," I replied, returning the hug with genuine affection. My father's eyes crinkled as he smiled. "Welcome home, Ella." Tommy couldn't resist a teasing grin. "You've gotten all fancy, Ella. Look at those city clothes." I laughed, taking in his light-hearted banter. I had to dress the part, but I'm still the same old me. As we walked through town, memories flooded back. Harmonyville hadn't changed much. The town square remained at the heart of the community, bustling with activity. Quaint storefronts lined the streets, many still sporting the same signs they'd had when I was a child. The artistic spirit of the town was evident in the vibrant murals that adorned the buildings, showcasing musical instruments and notes that danced in harmonious arrangements. "You're in for a surprise, Ella," my mother said with a glint of excitement in her eye. "There have been some changes around here." I raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What kind of changes?" My father exchanged a knowing look with my mother, and Tommy smirked, clearly in on the secret. "You'll see," he said, playing coy. As we approached my childhood home, I felt a mix of emotions: the familiarity of this place, the scent of roses from the garden, and the comfort of returning to a space that had once cradled my dreams. Inside, the house retained its cozy charm, the living room adorned with family photos, many of them capturing snapshots of my younger self clutching a tiny violin. My bedroom, now mine once again, was as I had left it, bedecked with posters of my favorite composers and musicians. My mother, always sentimental, handed me a small package. "We kept this for you," she said. Tenderly, I unwrapped it to reveal my first violin, the very one I had learned to play on as a child. Its wooden body showed signs of wear, and the strings were slightly frayed, but it held a special place in my heart. "It's been too long," my father remarked, his eyes filled with sentiment. I nodded, feeling a rush of emotions I couldn't contain. I had been so consumed by my music career that I had left behind the very instrument that had ignited my passion for the violin. "Thank you," I whispered, my eyes brimming with unshed tears. I held them tight. My family, my roots, my beginning. Tommy, ever the practical one, cleared his throat. "So you're back, Ella. What's the plan?" I had anticipated this question. In my heart, I had decided to take a step back from the demanding world of professional music and embrace the opportunity to give back to my community. I had secured a position as a violin instructor at Harmonyville High School. "I'll be teaching," I replied, a smile of anticipation tugging at my lips. "Violin at the high school. I want to share my love for music with the students and be part of the community." My family exchanged knowing glances, fully aware of the sacrifices I had made for my music career. They could see the determination in my eyes. "That sounds wonderful, Ella," my mother said, her voice filled with pride. My mother's unwavering support meant the world to me. As my family expressed their encouragement, I felt a mixture of relief and excitement. I had returned to Harmonyville with the hope of rediscovering myself, of reigniting the flame of joy that had fueled my journey to becoming a violinist. My job at the high school offered a refreshing change of pace from the relentless world of professional music. Meeting my students, a diverse group of young musicians filled with the vigor of youth, filled me with hope. I could sense their potential, the spark of talent that they carried within them. Teaching had always been my passion. Each day, as I stood before my students, my heart swelled with pride. The high school's music room was a sanctuary of sorts, filled with the melodious strains of violins, cellos, and other instruments. The students played with enthusiasm, their faces illuminated with the joy of creating beautiful music. One student in particular caught my attention. Lily, a talented violinist with a passion for music, displayed a raw talent that was impossible to ignore. In her, I saw a reflection of my younger self, a girl with a dream and an unrelenting love for the violin. I approached Lily after one of our classes. "You have real talent, Lily," I told her, my voice filled with sincerity. "I can see that you're passionate about the violin." Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement, and her voice trembled with the thrill of being recognized. "Thank you, Miss Ella. I've always loved playing the violin. My dream is to become a professional musician someday." Her words resonated with me, taking me back to my own dreams of a musical career. I knew the journey she was embarking on, the challenges and the triumphs that lay ahead. I offered her guidance and encouragement, determined to nurture her potential. Our connection went beyond that of a teacher and a student. It was a bond between kindred spirits who shared a deep love for music. As my days filled with teaching and my evenings were punctuated by explorations of my hometown, I couldn't help but feel a profound sense of coming full circle. Harmonyville's music scene had blossomed in my absence, and the town itself had evolved, embracing the arts even more fervently. New faces and old ones intertwined in the rhythm of life, creating a melody of community and belonging. Returning to Harmonyville had been a symphony of emotions, a blend of nostalgia and anticipation, of rediscovery and reinvention. It was a return to my roots, a rekindling of my passion, and a renewal of the music that had always been the heart of my soul. And as the days unfurled, I knew that I was about to compose a new chapter in my life, one that would harmonize the melodies of the past with the promises of the future.